Hi, artsy friends. I have a package from Amazon as part of the Prime. Actually, it's a bunch of Daniel Smith watercolor paints. And let me show those to you here. While I'm shopping during Amazon Prime days, I went ahead and even though these weren't on Prime sale, I bought them anyway because I wanted them. And they are some of the Daniel Smith colors. I wanted more of the Primatech, so I got the Kyanite, Genuine Sleeping Beauty Turquoise, and the Green Apatite. And then it looks like the Mayan Blue is also a Primatech color. That means the Primatech colors come from grinding up stones and making the paint. And then two other colors that I wanted to pick up were the Ultramarine Turquoise and Rose Madder Permanent. Now, Rose Madder, if you know anything about the madder colors, they are usually very fugitive. That means that the colors just disappear in pretty short order. But what they've done here is they've mixed together some other colors that are more permanent. And let's see what they put together right here on the tube. It's going to say quinacridone coral, quinacridone red, and quinacridone magenta. So quinacridone coral's PR209, that's a red color. Quinacridone red is PV19, which is a violet mixing color. And then quinacridone magenta is PR202. So all quinacridone colors that are more permanent, and they make up a color that looks similar to the Rose Madder Genuine, which I have some of the Rose Madder Genuine as well, but I really haven't used it because I know that the Rose Madder Genuine is going to be fugitive. It's going to disappear. So you may want to consider that when you're looking at any of the madder colors, or sometimes there's also a color that says lake, L-A-K-E. And sometimes the lake colors can also be fugitive, meaning they may not last a long time. Now, if you're taking your artwork and you're making prints from the artwork, then that does not matter at all. Go ahead, get your really exotic colors that may not have the same light fastness and play. Just play and have fun. Now, another thing that I got along with the paints, and we are going to swatch these in just a minute, is I got these photo cases. And the reason that I got the photo cases is that I have tons of photographs, both of items that I have taken myself. Like I took this photograph of the lotus on the top here, as well as pictures that I get that are royalty free off of the internet from Unsplash or from Pixabay or some of the other royalty free sites. And I print them off like this on just cheap photo paper. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to organize them so that if I know that I want to do a floral, I can just grab the flower pictures. Like here's several flowers and leaves like this. So I could take this. That's a picture I took as well. This is pictures that I took too. And this is fruit. So I'm going to figure out a way to separate these pictures out, and then they fit. Let me show you here. These are 4x6 photo holders, so I can just stack them in here and have my pictures organized. Now, these are also the same size where you can, for instance, these are the 15 milliliter tubes, and these are the 5 milliliter, the smaller tubes. But look at that. They also work for holding your paints if you want to get organized with your paints as well. But I have far too many paints to organize them into these little holders. Now, these little holders do come thicker, so they're not always just this sort of narrow here. You can get ones that are also higher, and that may work better for storing, like storing all your reds together and your yellows and your blues and your browns, whatever it is. But it can be a convenient way to store those items as well. But in this case, I'm going to be using them for all of my copious photographs And I have many more that I want to print, but I didn't want to print them until I got the boxes. So we're going to set those aside right now and play with the paint. Now I have here just a plastic, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 16 wells. And you can see I have a couple of colors already in here, but let's go ahead and put these colors in here and then swatch them. So we're going to start with some of the Primatech colors. This one is the Mayan blue. Sometimes when you open these, the paint just goes crazy and jumps right out, doesn't it? I'm going to do the Kyanite Genuine next to that one because this is also a blue. Ah! It's coming out, especially if it's been on a plane to travel, or if it gets hot sometimes. It'll just jump right out of the tube. Actually, it might be easier if I pull this down and put these up. No, that's working, right? There, so you can, I want to be sure you can see them. Okay, good. And then another one is the Sleeping Beauty Turquoise, which my father cut stones, and I actually also cut stones. So I'm very excited for this one. There was a little bit of dried on the outside, which is not a problem at all. I can probably just rehydrate that. I can tell that a little bit of the binder has separated. So if the binder separates, what you want to do is get yourself a tool. Let's see, I'm looking for, or the end of a brush if you have a small brush. This is one of the Christy Rice brushes. And let me just sort of work it in there. What you want to try to do is, if there's separation between the pigment and the binder, you want to try to get that pigment and binder mixed back up. Normally I would use a toothpick for that, which I don't happen to have handy, but you can see there's a bunch of binder in there. So I'm going to want to add a little bit more of the, there we go, the pigment to mix in with that binder. Nice. That looks quite opaque, actually, the Sleeping Beauty. And like I said, you can see that some of it came out and was dry, but what I'll do is I'm just going to save that, and I will try to reconstitute it by adding water to it later. Because even when these paints are dry, you can go ahead and re-wet them. Okay, the next one is going to be the, let's see, we have another Primatech here, so I'll keep all the Primatechs together. This one is Green Apatite Genuine. Ah, it just wants to jump out of the tube, doesn't it? And then we're going to do the Ultramarine Turquoise here. There we are, Ultramarine Turquoise. Come on, turquoise. Wow. Okay, that's obviously a transparent color. Oftentimes, if a paint comes out and it almost looks black like this, it usually, I'm going to bring it up closer for you like that. It usually means that it's actually highly pigmented, transparent color. And then we're going to do the Rose Madder Permanent. So let's do this. See, it's just jumping right out of the tube like crazy. Love it though. Beautiful color, right? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, let's get ourselves a piece of paper. So I have this Painter's Color Diary. I love my Painter's Color Diary. And this is the one that I've already started with, the Daniel Smith colors. And so far I have the lunar colors on here. And there is a video on my YouTube channel for when I swatch the lunar colors, if you want to watch that. So this is the Mayan blue. And now I see why everybody loves this color. It actually, to me, looks like it has a very marine type look to it. It's going to be terrific for your underwater type looks. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Love that. Love, love, love that. I'll give you a tour up close after I'm finished with the swatches. This is the Kyanite. Now, Kyanite, it's surprisingly dark to me, but also it depends on the batch because Kyanite stones that I have seen in the past are quite a light brown. They have a shimmer to them also. So what you're going to find with this, there we go, if we use it in a lighter capacity instead of being too thick. If it's very thick, it's quite dark. But if you lighten it with more water, you're getting this very light. It's a dark blue tone, but it lets the light of the paper show through the back. And when this dries, I can already see it. It's sparkling all over the place because kyanite is a sparkly stone. All right, let's grab this Sleeping Beauty turquoise. Quite opaque. Wow. Yeah, very, very opaque. Let's add a bunch of water to it and see what happens. Quite a dense version of turquoise, because often when you get a turquoise, and we're going to see that over here, often the turquoises that you purchase are transparent, but this one is quite opaque in its mass tone, and then a very soft turquoise here with lots of water. But I can see where this tube is going to go a long way. This is the green apatite. And I got it in the small size because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, but a lot of people that I watch recommend this apatite color. Oh, that's why they recommend it. Gee whiz. It is the funny thing is I've seen the apatite stone, and the green, well, the green is much more dense in the natural stone, and it must just be when they grind it up and they turn it into this paint that a lot more of the green comes out in it. Isn't that amazing? It's so bright green. I totally did not expect that. All right, let's do the ultramarine turquoise. Ultramarine turquoise. See, this one is going to be it's very dense, and yet it's also quite transparent, where this one is a little more milky looking. That stone, this is not a stone pigment here. These two are not Primatech, and they're both going to be very transparent. So there's a natural turquoise, meaning a real turquoise stone that's ground up. And so you can see the difference. And as I said, I'll bring you up closer, but you'll be able to see the difference between this natural stone and this ultramarine turquoise. Oops, I put it over here instead of putting those two up here, but it doesn't matter, right? It's all good. You can see the mass tone of that ultramarine turquoise is quite dark, very, very dark and dense. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Why did I buy rose madder? I have rose, and I even have genuine madder in Winsor & Newton, but I wanted to see the interpretation by Daniel Smith, who, it says right on there, extra fine watercolors, and they sure are extra fine watercolors. Oh yeah, this is a dream to work with. You can see here that it's the color itself is moderately dark, so it's not at all, it's totally transparent, not at all covering that line. And the color is so rich. And it definitely reminds me of roses, no doubt. I'm going to have to paint a bunch of roses with this one. Faux show. Okay, there we go. And now I just got a little spot right here. You might not be able to see it, but there's a little spot of the red right there. And so this is my favorite brush for getting up spots. It's the Velvet Touch Willows Blender, 3/8 inch, or I think there's another one as well, a smaller one. But I just come in here. I don't want too much water on it, but I find that this really helps to, if you have a good quality watercolor paper, it really helps to pick up that excess color. Now it's bleeding because it said, hey, we're still wet over here. Ay, ay, ay. Well, what I'll have to do is let it dry a little bit and then come in there and wipe that up. If it matters, it doesn't really matter, right? So those are the colors that came in that set. Let's do a little bit of color mixing and see what we can create with this combination of colors. This is my favorite studio watercolor paper for just all around everything. It's the Canson XL 140 pound 9x12 watercolor paper. That seems to fit really well on my desk. And so let's take a look at doing some combinations of these colors. And the first combination that I want to try, I think I would like to do this Rose Madder together with some of the Sleeping Beauty and just see what happens. Because if you take a rose and you mix it with a blue, you usually get an interesting purple. But okay, it's giving us more of a gray purple or a gray. It's a Delft dark blue. And I suspect it's something like that might happen because the Sleeping Beauty is very opaque and it's not as well, it's not a transparent color, so it's not likely to combine very well with other colors. Let's look at I want to do some of the kyanite because it's a nice dark blue right here, right? It's almost a gray, isn't it? Interesting. And it's so sparkly, so sparkly. And I want to take with that and put some of this green of the apatite in with it. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Okay. Well, it just gives me a super granulating color that's quite mossy. So to me, that's a nice mossy color. And it has sparkle. Oh my gosh. Love that. Let's try the Mayan blue. Let's try the Mayan blue together with the green apatite. Wow, that green apatite is super strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more of the Mayan blue in with it. I really like that. I like that a lot. It's beginning to give it more of a celadonite kind of color. Oh, I can see I'm going to have to put more Mayan blue in here. Okay, Mayan blue, you can do it. It doesn't jump out of the tube the same way as the large tubes do. That's a very interesting color. Actually, let's write down what we have here before I forget, right? And I want to intensify this a little bit more with more of the Mayan blue. I'm definitely in love with that combination right there. Mayan blue, that gets a thumbs up right there. Mayan blue and green apatite. Now let's do some of the ultramarine. Super strong ultramarine turquoise. And wow, it is in the brush and it's not wanting to come out. And then, of course, some of the Rose Madder. Let's grab a bunch. Ooh, a lot went on there. That's giving us an intense purple. Yes, that makes me very happy. Very happy. Let me add some water to it and thin it out so you can see. So to me, that looks like a blueberry purple, doesn't it? Let's try this Rose Madder. And I want to mix that with some of the kyanite. So we've got, because the kyanite is so dark, and I want to see what it does to this pink madder. This Rose Madder. Oh, okay. So if I want to get a dark grainy purple, there you go. A grainy purple. So this one, which was these two colors are both transparent and they are not granulating. So we got a solid purple color over here. But this one, because kyanite is granulating since it is a stone, the Rose Madder mixed with it gives a very grainy And I can even see a little bit of the pink separating out of it. I like that combination a lot. So let's use the Rose Madder again. And this time, I'm going to mix it with the Mayan Blue. Let's see what it does. Yeah, I'm going to be using the Mayan Blue a lot, I can see. Okay, that just gives me another dark purple and a darker tone than the kyanite, which is surprising because the kyanite looks almost black in here, and yet the tone here is even darker. And that's going to be granulating. And the next one is Rose Madder again. There's not quite enough in there, is there? There's a little too much water I got in there. All right, Rose Madder. I'm going to go through it fast. So the Rose Madder here, there, and it's a little heavier. So we've got the Rose Madder, and we're going to combine that with the Green Apatite. And the reason that I want to do that is red and green are opposite each other on the color wheel, so I should get a kind of a brown color, or quite a neutral color out of that. Yes, look at that. So if you're looking for a mouse brown, or you're looking for dark dirt or something like that, and you need to neutralize your color very quickly, if you're working with Green Apatite, just throw a tiny bit of magenta in there. If you're working with the magenta, just throw like a tiny bit of the green in there and it'll neutralize the color. So there it is. It's a very neutral green. Yeah, I could see using that easily for a shadow. And I'm also seeing, because the Primatech are your stone and they're granulating, I can see in the ones that have the Primatech colors in them that the colors separate out a little bit. Like this one with the Sleeping Beauty and Rose Madder, you can see a pink undertone underneath the Sleeping Beauty stone. That is fun. Okay, how about we paint a fig? Because a fig will go very well with these colors, with all the purples that we can make.